Good day, everybody. My name is Udoka Anyanwu. I'm here with my classmates, Isioma and Elvis. We're here to present the topic, the impact of greenwashing on firm performance in the wake of the recent Volkswagen dieselgate scandal. Let me start by talking about the abstract. To explore this, we focus in a real-life example, being the Volkswagen dieselgate scandal. This case is a well-known case of greenwashing. Volkswagen was seen around that time to advertise their diesel cars as environmental friendly, when in reality they had installed softwares to cheat emission tests. This, of course, misled the public, damaged the environment, and ultimately undermined genuine efforts to fight climate change. And this, of course, sprung our research, and we had three things to get a clarity on, which motivated our research. Which is the first one was what motivates companies to engage in greenwashing despite the legal and reputational risk. The second one was what does the Dieselgate case reveal about weaknesses in environmental regulations? That's knowing about the loopholes. The third one was the should greenwashing be criminalized to improve corporate accountability? Moving to the introduction of our topic, in 2015, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency discovered that VW had installed a defeat device software. Of course, around this time, this scandal didn't just expose a single company, but of course, it raised much bigger concerns about the lack of oversight in environmental regulation, the ease with which the corporations can mislead the public, and also the weak consequences for wrongdoing. This is what, of course, led us to ask whether deceptive environmental claims like this should be treated much more seriously, because, of course, this will turn to potential criminal behaviors in the future. I hand over to Isioma. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Udoka. So I'll be talking about the problems of this, that's the problem statement. Here we examine the impact of greenwashing on corporate performance with a special focus on VW Dieselgate scandal. Greenwashing is when companies exaggerate or fabricate their environmental efforts to appear more sustainable than they are. In the case of VW, defeat devices were installed into their diesel cars to manipulate emission tests, which led to a lot of fines of over 30 billion, major reputational damage, and global decline in trust. Greenwashing has become a critical issue in today's sustainability-driven business environment. It misleads consumers, distorts regulatory compliances, and undermines climate-related initiatives. Our statement highlighted that greenwashing increases a firm's financial and legal risk, damages its image, and affects its relationship with investors and stakeholders. Moreover, there's still a gap in enforcing robust international regulations to hold firms accountable for misleading environmental claims. To explore this issue in depth, we developed like three major research questions. One of which is, what are the environmental and legal implications of greenwashing, especially in the context of the VW Gate scandal? Then the second one is, what financial risks do companies face with engaging in greenwashing? Another one is, how does greenwashing impact on a company's public image and stakeholders' trust? So these three questions helped us to explore how greenwashing affects multiple areas of business performance, from economic penalties to brand equity and consumer confidence. Our literature review also drew on a range of peer-reviewed resources and case studies. For instance, authors such as Lee and Rash 2023 and Lyon and Montgomery 2015 showed that companies engaging in greenwashing are likely to experience increased legal liabilities, loss of investor trust, and poor financial performances. Greenwashing was linked to four major risks. The first one being financial risk. We have the consumer risk, we have the legal and environmental risks, and also the reputational risks. For financial risks, which involves misleading claims that diverts investments from real sustainability initiatives and often lead to fines and settlements. Then for the legal and environmental risks, deception of environment disclosures leads to lawsuits and non-compliance of regulations. Then also the reputational risk, consumers' trust deteriorates when companies are exposed, resulting in long-term brand image. Then also, if we take a look at the consumer risk, we can see when consumers are misled, this makes it makes them make decision based on false information, and this could weaken brand credibility. So in essence, this literature highlights that greenwashing can be short-sighted and counterproductive with severe long-term consequences. I'll be leaving Elvis to continue from where I've stopped. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, I will be moving on to slide number 7, the methodology that we used in conducting our research. Now, this research is we used a qualitative approach based on secondary data. Some of the data sources that we used included Science Direct, the OECD, Google Scholar, iLibrary, EU website, and the Environmental Protection Agency. Some of the key terminology that we used, key search terms that we used was dieselgate, greenwashing, Volkswagen emission scandal, environmental legislation enforcement, and corporate environmental disclosure. According to Johnson, 2024, secondary data is valuable for identifying systemic trends, regulatory gaps in environmental accountability. The data were analyzed using the thematics analysis by Brown and Clark, 2012, and organized into themes for deeper insights. Moving on to the results of our findings. Now, greenwashing has severe, based on our findings, has severe financial, legal, and transparency implications. As you can see on the pie charts and the graphs that we have on the slide, by 2020, greenwashing scandals, notably in the automotive sector, led to over $30 billion in global penalties. These fines included legal settlements, buybacks, and vehicle recalls. Now, these figures highlight the severe financial consequences of misleading environmental claims and emphasize the urgent need for transparent and sustainable practices within the industry. Now, moving on to our discussions, all about the risk based centered around greenwashing. Now, starting with financial risk, greenwashing leads to poorer financial performance, as shown by Lee and Ratchet in 2023, and causes misuse of funds intended for real sustainability initiatives. Legal and environmental risks. Now, companies engaging in greenwashing face legal liabilities, brand damage, reduce access to green finances, according to Huang et al. 2022. Now, reputational risk, again, is another major factor. Greenwashing erodes trust among stakeholders, undermines authentic sustainability efforts, and harm companies' long-term image, according to Friedman et al. 2018. Now, based on our findings, we came up with a number of recommendations and suggestions. The first one includes independent auditing. So enforce third-party audits and third-party companies to audit and physically verify to ensure genuine environmental compliance. Moral motivation is a second base suggestion. Promote ethical business behavior to encourage resistance to sustainability efforts, especially where cost is concerned. Now, incentives is another big recommendation. So incentivize eco-friendly practices through tax breaks, green financing, and sustainable supply network. And cross-departmental integration is another great one. So you foster a collaborative relationship between engineering, legal, marketing teams to build a culture of accountability with robust training and monitoring. Now, last but not the least, embrace technology. Leverage AI and digital tools to monitor environmental claims across global supply chains, creating scalable, trustworthy systems for the future. Thank you very much. I'll pass you on to Loretta now for the conclusion.
Okay, thank you very much, Elvis. So in conclusions from our findings, we can confirm that greenwashing negatively impacts firm performance across multiple dimensions. In the case of VW, the scandal led to substantial financial penalties, eroded stakeholder trust, and forced regulatory bodies to reevaluate environmental disclosure laws. We concluded that combating greenwashing requires a combination of robust regulatory frameworks, ethical corporate practices, and improved transparency. Specifically, we recommend that one, independent environmental audits should be carried out. The use of AI tools to verify environmental claims is necessary. Then also incentives for companies that demonstrate their new sustainability practices. So we can see that these recommendations aim to enhance corporate accountability and support this transition to authentic and transparent environmental performance. Thank you.
Thank you very much.